Hey everybody, Dave here. Just want to send you a quick video to cause some reflection and some thoughts as you plan and start to anticipate yet another amazing school year. You know, as we go into this next school year, I know we all start the year with the same drive, the same goal, the same determination, which is to help create new destinies, to set kids up so that they can be successful later on in life, so that they are lifelong learners. And you know, I can give you the company line and all that spiel, but bottom line is we're trying to make kids smarter and better than when they started. Our goal is to try to create experts, to try to get kids to master content and to be proficient, and we do that by placing them in front of master educators, people that have drive and ambition and goals and skills to really change the next generation. I'm going to ask you a few questions to get you to think, reflect, and push you a little bit. The question is a simple one, but what makes a student a good student? What makes them an expert? What makes them a master of content? Because ultimately, that's what you're after, is trying to make masters of content. At the end of this coming school year, you're going to give out some big state assessment that's going to supposedly measure their level of expertise. It's going to ask you to identify whether or not they are masters, whether or not they're proficient, whether or not they are basic, whatever verbiage you use. And you're going to have to, in some instances, make decisions based off of that data, whether or not to hold kids back, whether or not you're going to give them some sort of random label, call them at risk, or put them in interventions, or make them go to summer school, whatever the case may be in your building, in your district, based off of the label that you give them. Now, this isn't going to be necessarily a speech where I'm going to get up on a soapbox and talk about my thoughts behind that. I'll save that for another day. But I really want you to question whether or not you know what an expert is, whether or not you know what a master is. You are a master educator. Why? What describes you as a master educator? Is it because you have Charlotte Danielson's rubric and you are highly effective in 22 indicators, or is there more to it? I'm gonna challenge you real quick. I'm gonna show you a quick 13-second video of my youngest son, Mason. Mason just celebrated his 4th birthday, but this short clip is a 13-second clip from when he was just under a year old. And I'm gonna ask you a question. When you watch this short video clip, I want you to answer, is Mason a walker? When you see this 13-second video clip, decide for yourself, has he mastered the art of walking? So what do you say? Has he mastered it? Now, I'll tell you the story behind this is, first of all, when I recorded this 13-second video clip, I did not think he was a master of walking. But the story is, I came home from work, my wife asked me to get out my phone and to record Mason, because in her eyes, he had just mastered some new skill. And after the 13 seconds of filming, I turn off my phone. What you don't see is Mason falls to the ground, starts crying, I pick him up, and I'm thinking to myself, why did I just record that? And my wife proceeded to tell me that she couldn't believe Mason was walking, and she wanted me to be able to capture it, because I used to say if I didn't see it, it didn't happen. So she wanted me to see him walking. Well, again, by my definition, that wasn't walking. In my definition, I'm a runner, I run marathons. Maybe I say walking is being able to actually run. Maybe that's a level of proficiency that you have to be able to do, or maybe you have to be able to run a 5K or a 10K, or maybe a marathon to be a walker. Now, in her eyes, because she had been a part of his daily process, and she remembered him being able to, laying in his crib, not even being able to sit up, crying for help, not able to pull himself up to a standing position, not being able to take a couple of steps. In her eyes, this was that next step in the walking journey. In her eyes, what you just saw was a proficient walker. Now, a master, I don't know. I don't know how we describe a master walker, because even myself as a 41-year-old man, there are days where I fall down, where I stub my toe. I've sprained ankles before, simply because sometimes I struggle with walking. I know we all have some of those experiences. So what defines a walker? What defines somebody that's proficient in that skill or a master of that skill? I challenge you to work through that exercise and then to have a conversation with somebody else so that you can try to determine whether or not you know what that threshold is. Because again, throughout your course of the school year, you're going to be presented with a bunch of standards, a bunch of skills that kids are supposed to become masters of and experts of. And in a lot of cases, you work in a building where you have multiple people teaching the same topics and the same standards, and you might have different levels of proficiency in your own minds. And I guarantee the state has its own definition of proficient because they come up with assessments that say, here's what a proficient level in that skill looks like. And it's important that you determine whether or not your level of expertise or mastery or proficiency matches theirs, because that's going to drive the instruction that you provide. All right, let me pause again. I'm going to give you yet another challenge. Again, I'll give you a personal reflection. Mason is only one of my 4 kids. I've got 4 kids. My oldest is 13 as I'm recording this. Again, my youngest Mason just turned 4 this past week. All very, very different. And even though I've got 4 kids, I will tell you that I am not a master parenter. Apparently I'm not a master speaker either. I'm not a master at parenting. And actually this morning at church, ironic enough, they showed a short video clip based off of this conversation of whether or not any of us have truly mastered the art of parenting. Now, again, 4 kids, wide range from teenager down to preschool. Been doing this parenting thing now for a decade and a half. And there are many days where I don't have the answers. I am not an expert. What makes somebody an expert parent? When do we determine whether or not a person is an expert parent? Do we wait until all the kids are out of the house and all the kids have turned into adults to determine whether or not somebody is an expert parent? Do we determine it based off of snap judgments when we watch them disciplining their children? Do we have to do home visits to see the daily routines? How do we determine whether or not somebody is an expert parent? How do we determine when somebody is an expert teacher or master teacher? How many observations does it take? Is it 1 lesson, 2 lessons? Do we wait and see how the kids perform 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road? What makes us make that determination? So watch this next video clip. It's kind of interesting. It's a funny little video clip from the movie Inside Out. And ask yourself, what makes somebody an expert parent?
She doesn't notice.
So, how was the first day of school?
She's probing us.
I'm done. You pretend to be Joy.
What? Okay,
It was fine, I guess. I don't know. Oh, very smooth. That was just like Joy.
Something is definitely going on.
She's never acted like this before. What should we do? We're gonna find out what's happening, but we'll need support. Signal the husband.
Ahem.
With a nice pass over to Reed, comes across that right.
Uh-oh, she's looking at us. What did she say?
What? Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
Is it garbage night? We left the toilet seat up. What? What is it, woman? What?
He's making that stupid face again.
I could strangle him right now.
Signal him again.
Ah, so, Riley, how was school?
Gotta be kidding me.
For this, we gave up that Brazilian helicopter pilot?
Boo! I'll be Joy.
School was great, all right?
Riley, is everything okay?
Sir, she just rolled her eyes at us.
What is her deal? All right, make a show of force. I don't want to have to put the foot down.
No, not the foot.
Riley, I do not like this new attitude.
Oh, I'll show you attitude, okay? No. Stay happy!
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Sir, reporting high levels of sass.
Take it to DEFCON 2.
You heard that, gentlemen? DEFCON 2.
Listen, young lady, I don't know where this disrespectful attitude came from.
You want a piece of this, Pops? Come and get it!
Yeah, well...
Here it comes. Prepare the foot.
Keys to safety position. Ready to launch on your command, sir.
Just shut up!
Fire!
That's it. Go to your room. Now.
Foot is down. The foot is down.
Good job, gentlemen.
Kind of funny. So the moral of this, as you are watching this, and the takeaway is Again, I'm a big proponent of standards-based grading. I believe standards are extremely important, but not because of the standards themselves, but because of the conversation and the dialogue that ensues from trying to determine what proficiency or what the standard is really calling for or asking for. But I want you to focus in on not just the standard, but the process that goes along with it. I want you to really focus in on this year as you are looking at how you're assessing kids, whether or not you're giving tests or quizzes or daily assignments or check-ins or whatever it is that you're going to be doing in your class with the expectations that are presented before you by your administrator. Celebrate the process, because everybody is somewhere different in their journey. Don't take learning down to a binary, yep, got it, don't got it, where you're just marking things right or wrong this year. Celebrate the process, figure out ways to identify where kids are in the process and where you are in that process. Just like my son Mason, he is somewhere in that process of walking in that video I showed. As a parent, I am somewhere in the process of being a good parent. It's not a yes or no, a walk, don't walk. It's not a good parent, bad parent. It's not a, yep, you're a math student, not a math student. It's not a, yep, you got the standard or you don't got the standard. Can't simplify things to thumbs up, thumbs down, or somewhere in the middle. Just like we can't say, yep, you are a highly effective teacher or you are a good student or a bad student. Figure out how you can celebrate the process. If you want more information, check out my blog, check out one of my books, or just talk to some of your peers and in the workforce. Again, make this year amazing and celebrate the process.